What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Fight franchise, and hopefully a new series that's going to be coming on our channel where we're going to be giving you tier lists of some big and major topics within the fight game. We've got a new tier list coming for you and the first ever collab on the channel. We're going to show you off today the best strikers in all of MMA, and we're going to kind of do this now. And we've got Bad MMA Math with us today. Bad MMA Math, how you doing?
Really well. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me on. I didn't think I'd be doing this for a while, but yeah, really glad to be here and looking forward to doing this one in particular. It should be a good one.
But for those who don't know, Bad MMA Math, he does MMA content where he covers all the kind of pay-per-views, fight weeks and fight nights and all the cards, where he gives you previews and reviews of the shows in his own kind of salty takes. Check him out. He's one of the funnier channels on the covering the MMA space. Do you want to kind of give him a breakdown on what you kind of do?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So what I tend to do is I do breakdowns of the entire card. So I look from, early prelims all the way to the main events. I kind of try to keep things sort of short and sweet, but yeah, essentially I just give a breakdown of all the matchups, and I more look at kind of the betting side of it, not just in terms of the matchups, but where I think the best bets lie on each fight. And then what I do is immediately after the card's over, I then react to, how things went and generally reflect on what's happened. And usually in quite an angry manner, usually. So it's usually quite entertaining to tune into that.
No, it's 100%. I've watched a few of his videos now, and he puts it in the description, salty takes, and there can be some funny salty takes that he gives. But yeah, check him out if you want consistent videos and consistent uploads on fight content. His content's a bit different to mine. I give you more the big pay-per-view breakdowns, but he gives you an overview throughout the whole year of every fight card. And he's a massive MMA fan, knows his MMA very well, watches all the kind of PFL, Bellator, everything, one championship, and also Twitter. You're quite active now, aren't you?
Yeah. I basically started everything up around the same time, so I hadn't used anything, to be honest. I set the YouTube channel up, I think, in January, and then I was advised to jump on Twitter, which I did in February. So it's a good opportunity to kind of interact with people there and have more of a back and forth directly, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm very much at the start of things, but really, really enjoying it. And, as I said, it's a nice opportunity to get to know people, similar way to how I found you as well. So
100%. So if you want to back and forth with him, he's very active on Twitter. I'm going to try and become more active on the socials. I'm just a bit busy at the moment. But again, Bad MMA Math, check him out on Twitter. I'll plug everything at the end, and we're going to have all his links in the description. But today we've got a collaboration. We're going to be ranking in the UFC. We've got a bunch of different fighters on screen. And we're going to find out who is the best striker in the UFC at the moment. So let's get straight into it. And this should be a good, fun video where you can kind of see both our opinions and how our brains work in the MMA sphere. And it's something different for you guys to see. So let's get right into it. We've got Islam Makhachev, the pound for pound #1 right now. Do you agree with him being #1 pound for pound in the world?
I do. Yeah. I do. I think like with Jones being as inactive as he has been, I'd say it's fair. It's really funny, really, watching him be really salty about not making #1. So for that reason, I kind of wanted him to hold off for a little bit. But generally, no, I think he does deserve to be #1 right now.
No, I agree with you. I think he's best in the world right now. When you go for overall game, he's probably got one of the most balanced mixed martial arts sets in the world right now. So I think he is pound for pound #1. And also, he beat another pound for pound great in Alex Volkanovski now twice this year, where we're ranking him first striking. So this is just purely, we're ranking every guy off striking. So we've got the list. We've got GOAT striker, world-class striker. We've got very good striker, decent striker, average striker, and then we've got stick to grappling as the worst. So where are we putting him in?
Yeah. I imagine, I'm going to probably be a little bit different from you on this one. I would probably have him somewhere in between decent and very good. I know that might sound a little bit harsh, but I just think his game isn't varied enough to be considered in the upper echelons, if you know what I mean. I think he's a very good striker. I think he's very effective. I think he manages distance really well. But in terms of the variety that he uses and the fact that he's only really shown how good he is in the last few fights, I wouldn't quite have him at that upper echelon yet, but I'd have him kind of in between decent and very good.
I'd say I'd I'd say I agree with you in that sense. I'd say very good. I'd put him in just because if you look at the talent competition of who he's fought recently, we can change these obviously as we go on. But very good striker. I think the way he KO'd Alex Volkanovski, no one saw it coming. In the first fight when they fought the 25-minute war, Alex did really good in the grappling, and I think Islam proved us all wrong in the striking department. So I think for now, we put him in very good striker, and especially when you think grappling base and how much he's improved in his striking since then. Dropped Charles Oliveira, did very well in the first fight, and just KO'd with a head kick and then ground and pound. Alex Volkanovski, I think, very good is a reasonable shout now for Islam.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I'd go for that. I think certainly the last performance pushed him up from...
Yeah.
I would have probably had him at decent before his last performance.
I 100% agree with you on that one. I'd have been decent, but after his last performance, he gets into very good. Calvin Kattar next. Where would you put Calvin Kattar?
Ooh, excellent boxer. One of the best, certainly one of the best boxers in the featherweight division. Again, when I think about strikers, I kind of think about... For me, the criteria usually comes down to variety. And if we were just talking about boxing, I'd have him in between very good and world class. I think he's an outstanding boxer. And again, the distance control and distance management is really good. He's very lengthy as well, which helps. I don't think he uses kicking enough.
Yeah.
For me, I do think he's got a very decent. He does go to leg kicks from time to time, but you're not going to get like leg kicks and body kicks out of Qatar too much, which I think limits him a little bit. So I would have him, even though I think he's a phenomenal boxer, and if it was just that, I'd have him higher up. I think overall, I'd have him in and around decent.
Yeah, I agree with you on that assessment as well. I think he's improved, especially after, Max Holloway massacred him. When Max Holloway massacred him, I think he's improved since then. But yeah,
it kind of showed the difference, didn't it? When you see him up against somebody like Max, you kind of see the difference in terms of the volume and the way he was just getting picked apart,
But I think, was it Giga Chikadze he fought? And then he was well improved in that fight. So I think, decent striker, like you said, uses his hands very well, but not enough kicking game. So yeah, I think I agree with you, decent striker. Next up, Song Yadong. Where are we putting him?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. You see, I feel this is where, when you get a few pieces on the board, you start to realize where they match up against each other, and it becomes more difficult. Again, I think he does offer quite a varied game. You can get like a lot. His boxing's really crisp. He's got a very good kicking game as well. What I like is the fact that he uses it to set everything else up as well. So again, I'd have him somewhere in between decent and very good as well. I'd have him kind of at that Qatar level.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Would you say better than? I'd say better than Qatar, just because he's got the kicking game as well, and also the
fact that he's got more variation. Yeah.
Was it him who had that brilliant? Was it Marias he KO'd?
That was absolutely disgusting.
Marias is leaving retirement fight from the UFC. Yeah, it was a bit of a wild one one, but yeah, he's 100%. Well deserving of a spot in decent. Maybe, hopefully, if he climbs the rank and get into bantamweight champ Sugar Sean.
Yeah, I'd have him up. I'd say upper echelon for me. I wouldn't quite have him at GOAT striker, but I would say world class wise in terms of, again, distance management, variety of strikes, angles he uses, footwork, head movement. He's one of the best around, I think, at the moment, and I think that's been on full display. For a consistent amount of time now. We've got a good sample size for him now. He's been in the UFC for a while. He's still young enough. I think in terms of everything he brings to the table, in terms of pure striking, I'd have him as a world class striker, 100%.
I don't know, because the only thing I'd say, the talent pool he's faced. Piotr Jan and Aljamain Sterling, but other than that, he's been beating, as some people say, tomato cans. Yeah. So does he kind of...
I think the difficulty is you kind of have to judge him on what he... I mean, Eddie Wineland might be... He might have been a little bit past.
That was a good KO.
Very experienced guy who's... It's more the way that he freezes guys, the guys that he's fighting. He makes people look as they should look. And I think the Piotr Jan one for me was the one that really stood out. He was obviously the starching of Aljamain was obviously huge, but to go 3 rounds with somebody like Jan, who's very accomplished as a kickboxer and as a boxer, and very much hold his own in that situation, I don't know. I think he's right there. I think it's the way he uses his length, the power he puts behind things. I'd have him kind of. I can see a case for kind of having him maybe between very good and
World
world
class,
class,
yeah.
considering, like I said, the case you've made. But I think just on what we've seen, I'd have him just about in world class.
Okay, I kind of agree with you. We need someone in there, and I think he was the one where I was like, he could be world class, he could be high, very good. So we'll chuck him in world class. Brandon Moreno up next.
Boy, my instincts are telling me somewhere. I rate this guy so highly, and again, if it was overall game, I'd have him as a mixed martial artist. I'd have him as world class in terms of his overall game. Pure striking, I'd probably put him somewhere in decent, somewhere between decent and very good, and I'm kind of leaning towards decent. I just think he's, again, very varied, but he doesn't have the same pop, the same power. He doesn't necessarily use angles that well. I just think he's very solid in what he does to set things up. So if we're looking at everybody else on the list, I'd have him somewhere around, yeah, I'd say decent. A lot of people are probably going to disagree with that, though.
No, I agree with decent, to be fair, because striking offense, he's very good. Striking defense, he's susceptible to getting caught. You know what I mean? I think Figueiredo caught him a few times. I think Alexander Pantoja caught him a few times. I think he's a very good.
Yeah.
I think what helps him is how tenacious he is. He's a very tenacious fighter. His spirit and his dog is unreal. But I think striking offense, like that liver kick against Kai Kara France was brilliant. Like one of the best shots of the year, one of the best KOs.
And the thing is, I'm somebody. I mean, if you watch my channel quite regularly, I'm a big proponent for body work as well. Like variety is really big to me, and body work is something that's really underrated in the game. He is kind of very close to being a very good striker. I would say it's like what you said. When you're considering striking, you have to consider the defense as well. So I'd have him like kind of upper echelon, decent, verging on very good at times. And again, the level of competition he's faced has been immense as well.
I think his overall game is very good. I think striking offense, I'd put his striking offense really high. I think his striking defense, did Pantoja drop him a few times? That was a war, but I think he dropped him once or twice.
I mean, in the free fights they've had, he was dropped several times in those fights. I mean, Pantoja's world class as well. Yeah. But like, it's very... He has been susceptible to getting caught. Figueiredo caught him quite a few times as well and dropped him.
No.
So the defense could use some work for sure. It does let him down a bit.
Decent. Up next, the owner of Secret Juice, Paulo Costa.
One of my favorite. I know you're not much of a guy on Twitter, but the first thing you should do when you get active on that is check his out. I've
seen his Twitter on my personal, so I see like the Secret Juice stuff. He is hilarious. The only thing that pisses me off about this guy is how inactive he is. I just want him to fight.
Big problem.
He's actually. I put a case for him. He's one of the most in the octagon, one of the most entertaining fighters on the roster.
Oh, hands down. His fights are always fun as well.
Exactly, just
they're always
pure
fun.
wars on the feet. So, where do you reckon?
Yeah. This hurts me to say it. It hurts me to say I would have him at average, purely because I don't think he's a very. He's not really a precision fighter. Again, he is somebody who does use variety. His body kicks and leg kicks are pretty decent, and considering how powerful the guy is, they're a useful tool to have. He is a decent boxer as well. He's more of a volume guy. He's not really a precision finisher in that way. He's the kind of guy that will get you out of there by just placing volume and placing pressure on you. And sometimes he can be a little bit too wild for me.
A bit sloppy.
Very entertaining. Bit sloppy. That's why I'd have him at in and around average, which isn't too much of a surprise considering he did start out as a BJJ guy.
Yeah. I think people forget that, to be fair.
They do, yeah, because at the start he adapts now. People do forget that he was all about that. But yeah, I think he does have a lot to work on. He's fun as hell, but I'd have him in and around average.
Yeah, that bit, I agree with you. That kind of reckless style and whatnot, he should be an average. And he just didn't fight enough, so we're kind of forgetting what he's like. Like, Izzy pieced him up, and then after the Izzy fight, he didn't fight he had the Vittori fight.
Yeah, and Vittori out hard.
Yeah, exactly. And then
very similar styles.
And then he had the Luke Rockhold fight, which Luke was way past
just
it.
Insane.
That was a wicked fight, but Luke was way past it.
So fun.
You'd expect better from Paulo. So yeah, average I think is right.
Yeah.
Big boy himself, who I predicted would lose to and got cooked for, Tommy Aspinall.
Yeah, I actually predicted he'd beat Pavlovich. I thought it would take him until the second round, but I'm very, very high on this guy. I would say for a heavyweight, but that's not what we're doing. We're kind of talking about generally. I'd have him a very good striker, I think. I think I'd have him a very good. And it's more to do with the fact that it's not just the fact that his boxing is so slick and his timing is so slick. Again, he uses body kicks, uses leg kicks really well. What I really like is his elusiveness, the way he sets things up. His head movement is these heavyweights don't know what's coming when he's about, and I think the way that he moves and the way he sets things up makes him just like certainly at amongst the heavyweights just a level above. And I mean the heavyweights aren't, they're more of the sloppy variety, but for a heavyweight he's a very, very good striker.
No,
that's where I
have to agree. Prove me wrong. And then I think out of heavyweights, he's got one of the best overall games. Yeah, I'd say very good is where he belongs. I think what helps him is he's so quick in and out footwork-wise. Like he just dashes in, dashes out, crisp boxing. And then he's got the grappling as well. And he uses his boxing to set up his grappling as well. So, yeah, very good. And he's rapid striking. He's got quick striking. Yeah,
so quick. That's something I should have mentioned as well. Yeah, such a quick guy. For his size, it's just,
crazy.
Remarkable to consider now. Yeah.
Henry Cejudo, Triple C.
For me, he's basically got an overhand. I'd have him at average.
Stick to grappling is the worst.
He's kind of like, I'm tempted to. He's not the worst. I mean, I think we're going to encounter worse strikers on this list. He does set things up very well. Mm-hmm. He does have some pop in his shots, as he proved when he,
Marias and TJ Dillashaw,
crazy. I mean, TJ was really drained. And there was the whole madness going on with him, so it's very difficult to gauge him on that. But he did have some decent striking moments with DJ. I did think he lost that fight, by the way.
Yeah, he did have some decent moments. Karate stance is quite good for him, but he doesn't what's it called? So he's an average striker, you know what I mean? You could throw him in.
I would say leg kicks, overhands. That's basically what to get with him, and you could see Aljamain was reading him all day long.
Yeah, I think average striker is fair for him. He's a great overall fighter, but he's not really that blessed. Striking department.
Great fighter in general, and very tenacious.
High IQ as well. Yeah, he's a clever fighter.
Very high IQ. Yeah.
Kai Kara France.
I think my initial reaction, I'm thinking somewhere between decent and very good. Again, I think the boxing's really good. He's somebody that does mix it up. I mean, that's what you get with those CKB guys. Yeah, true. As much as that gym is insufferable to me, as I'm sure, again, watching those videos kind of
watch his content, you'll find out how much you love CKB.
I love CKB, man. But no, I mean, you have to give them credit where credit's due. They come in, very well prepared, and in terms of their striking, they're one of the best gyms around. He's very varied. Again, he's proven he can knock guys out. He's pretty good at switching stances as well. It's something that I've seen him do in his, throughout his career, which is something that is often overlooked. Especially with leg kicks becoming so big now. Usually once that lead leg is chewed up, people are pretty much done. But he's shown he can switch, which is a very big thing. I'd have him in and around decent because I think
I can't put him over Brandon Moreno just because Moreno knocked him out. So I'd say decent as well.
No way.
So yeah, decent.
Yeah, I think decent's fair.
Yeah. Royval, he's fighting in a couple of weeks, title of the world title.
It's got to be decent as well.
Do you reckon?
It's got to be decent. Yeah. It's more in the competition that he's faced. I mean, I think he's very good as well. I think he's very underrated, Royval.
But I think his submission games is where he excels, you know what I mean? I think how many submissions he's got recently. He's got quite a lot of submissions recently, and I think he got a KO on a fight night this year. I can't remember who it was against. I think it was Mateus Nicolas, wasn't it?
Mateus Nicolau.
Yeah.
Oh, that was and I thought Nicolau was going to win that fight as well. I was very high on Nicolau.
Yeah, he's more known for his submissions, but yeah, I think we'll see probably what happens with him and Pantoja. He might move up or down, but I think decent striker is probably fair for him. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I'm comfortable with that. Decent works for me. Yeah.
Genuinely, I wish I could. This guy is one of my favourite fighters of all time. Honestly, I wish I could throw him here.
And there was a time here after that Dominic Cruz fight, there could have been an argument for world class striker.
I know. It's crazy to see the
movement, and again some of the knockouts he's had. That Sun Sao knockout is
one of my favourites
ever. Filthiest things I've ever seen.
He's genuine. Yeah. Offensively, he's he might be up here, but
he's there. Yeah, he's very good to world
defensively,
class.
you're looking at
Stick to grappling, unfortunately.
I
Yeah.
know, it's so sad as well to see the fall off, because
It's
he's entertaining as well on the mic, and he tries to like heat things up and stuff. He's one of my favourite fighters on the roster, but it's just so unfortunate. Where are we putting him?
I think based on what we've said, I would say you can't put him average, because that would be complete nonsense. I'd have him as a decent striker. I think if he, and again in his last, I can't remember who he fought in his last fight. It was I can't remember the name. I know who you're on about. But he did show that he was defensively a little bit more responsible. He was being a lot less reckless.
He did throw some grappling in there as well, so
he did.
He doesn't feel like confident as he used to be in his grappling. Like I said, I think genuinely, if you're probably going if you're going on a scale, offensively, he's one of the best. Defensively, he's one of the worst.
One of the worst. So, and that's the thing. Kai Kara did absolutely starch him. So you can't put him ahead.
Exactly. That's why. So I think that's why I threw him there. Yeah. I think striking, he's probably better than Roy Val. Yeah. So I think that's good. Big Sergey Pavas, the Russian himself. You can't put him above Aspinall now.
No, I'd have him at decent. I think like the thing is he's very powerful, and the thing is at heavyweight you kind of, I don't know. I feel like with this guy, I saw this loss coming. He's very flat-footed, very heavy on the lead leg. He's only really got striking, and he's got no tank. I mean, I know we're not talking about tanks right now, but I think he's one of those guys that because what he's effective at is so good, he's able to get away with having a very limited kind of game. And heavyweights are notoriously not that good at striking anyway. I mean, it's a power game. And I think if we're talking power, he's one of the strongest out there. But there's no variety. He's very flat-footed. What he does very well. And I'm not not taking a dump on the guy now because he's just come off a loss. But I saw this one coming, and I think in terms of pure striking, he's very limited. Very powerful, very effective. The one trick he does have is great, but very limited.
Yeah, a bit of a one.
That's my take.
One trick pony. He hasn't got much variety to his striking. He's like an avalanche, I'll call him. Once the avalanche gets going, it's hard to stop. So
yeah, and I mean, in that fight he had with Blades as well, I felt like if Blades could have survived another 30, 40 seconds,
got the takedown or something,
he could have taken him, because it was just he gets sloppy as soon as he starts to get tired as well and starts winging. And I think it's more just like you said, it's an avalanche. It's just quick rush, and that's it. That's all he's got.
Yeah, I think there he's all right where he is there. I think that's a fair shout for him. Probably one of the biggest fan favourites, everyone's favourite, big Alex Volkanovski.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got him on my GOAT mountain, so I think what makes him, I would have him at world class.
Yeah, I agree.
Purely because, I mean, yeah, again, if we're talking variety, we're talking IQ, we're talking the tools he uses, the angles he comes from, the power he's got behind him. I think when you wrap everything up together, sometimes it's not the most eye-catching. It's not like, it doesn't look as fancy as you would say with an O'Malley. But in terms of effectiveness and the timing he uses and
the leg kicks,
I think he's one of the best. I think he's one of the best ever.
I 100% agree with you.
All round
MMA, and he doesn't have like that one-shot KO power, so he has to be good on his feet. And I've quoted before his performance against Max Holloway, the third fight, is one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Best title performances I've ever up there.
You've got to think Max Holloway's a pound for pound great, and he schooled him for 5 rounds. I think people would have probably maybe tried to rank him lower because of the Islam fight, but remember, short notice. And Islam's bigger, so I'm not knocking him on that one. You know what? Because at featherweight, he's been an absolute beast. And the first fight, he bruised up and, gave Makhachev a black eye, you know what I mean? So
I mean, I'm the biggest Volk fan out there. I did think I do think he lost that fight.
The first one.
It was a solid one.
I thought he lost the first fight, but he only lost it because of the grappling at some points. But I think I wouldn't knock him for the second fight with Islam. Took it on short notice. But
he dared to be
exactly,
great.
But striking-wise, I think he's one of the best in the world. And I think he's a definitely 100% world-class striker. And I can't wait for, next year, him v Topuria, who we'll see later. But I can't wait for that. But yeah, world-class striker. Mr. Justin Gaethje, the BMF.
Oh, he's up. He's very good. I'd probably have him at very good. I'm talking very good, but borderline world class.
See, I was thinking world class, but because his recent performances against Fiziev and Poirier, that KO, were unreal.
Yeah, and I think what would have kept me from keeping him at world class is, again, we have to get back to the striking defense. He was a little bit of a punching bag, move forward kind of guy at times, and he hasn't been that way in his last few. He's been a lot more calculated, patient.
I think also, if you're looking at variety, his calf kicks,
disgusting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he's got the calf kicks. He's shown now. He's got head kicks. His boxing is tight. He's got the power. I think very good. Only reason I think you're right, very good. Fiziev performance was great. The Poirier performance...
He got caught a lot as well, though, didn't he? He got caught in both.
But the one reason I wouldn't go world class, Charlie Olives dropped him.
Yeah.
So I think very good is your... I was going to say world class, but I think very good on your end is a correct assessment, to be fair. Yeah, very good.
I'd go.
Yair Rodriguez.
Again, we're talking upper echelon striker here as well. I'm thinking probably... I think I'd go world class just because the way he uses kicks is second to none probably in the entire organization. Like the way he uses, again, angles. It's the unpredictability of him as well.
Yeah.
That makes me so high on this guy. The win he got against TKZ years back, I don't know if you remember that, where he was kind of getting really outworked in that fight and then got like this disgraceful Hail Mary. I think it was like
the elbow.
The up elbow with literally a second to go.
Yeah.
Just shows that this guy is pretty much dangerous from every second he's standing.
Yeah, creativity, he is probably one of the most creative strikers on this list. I was going to say very good, but then he only lost to Volk because of the grappling, I reckon, because he took him down and smashed him and smothered him. I think I wouldn't put him ahead of Volk because I think Volk's got that fundamentals very well. But I think, world-class striker is a fair assessment, especially that Josh Emmett performance when he was smashing in leg kicks. That was unreal. That was, I think
again it's the variety, and again his defense is very good as well. He's very elusive. I think world class is. I can see an argument for very good as well because there have been
moments.
There have been some performances where he has.
I think it's against.
I think overall
upper echelon talent. That's when he kind of.
Yeah.
But I think.
And it's the creativity that really tips it for me because I mean, it's just that constant threat and that constant danger he has that makes him world class to me.
Yeah, you're right on that. Cyril Gane.
I'm going purely on. I'm just going to keep going with my first reaction here. I'm going very good.
Ooh, I would have said world class, but
okay. Let's hear what you've got to say first.
I think I've never in heavyweight history seen a striker kind of similar to him. How he's bouncing up and down on his feet, the leg kicks, the teeps, the kind of, and his variety of punches. He's very safe and he's very defensively sound and offensively sound. Like obviously the Jones fight, he got out grappled and that's the only place you're going to beat him. But remember, he's not going to be on this because he's not in MMA anymore. He's not in the UFC. Francis, he was piecing up Francis on the feet. And if you just saw what Francis did to Fury in boxing, you know what I mean? It's I think if he is in one of these two categories easily. I think these two against each other, Aspinall and Gane, would be an interesting fight.
I think that's where some questions are going to get asked because I personally think I would have Aspinall as a slightly better striker than Gane, and that would probably I'm pretty sure you disagree with that because I know you weren't very high on Aspinall going into
the Pavlovich fight.
Yeah.
I just think Gane's showing so much better striking against. I think against a lot of people keep cussing me, but they say the heavyweight talent Gane's beat like the plodding heavyweights like Derek Lewis and this. But I just think just pure striking is one of the best heavyweight strikers we've ever seen. Like,
and if we're going on the criteria that we've been talking about in terms of defensive responsibility and I mean he is very, very calculated in there. I wouldn't have him at world class, but I definitely think you've got a case for having him above Aspinall at this point. You've got more of a case, I would say.
Well,
so would you put him? I mean, if you want to put him in world class, brother, because you've been pretty accommodating with me so far. I can see an argument for world class. I can see it.
I just think if Sean O'Malley's in world class for beating two top guys and Gane's gone up the heavyweight ladder, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
for obviously the who's who of the division, the only person who hasn't fought yet is Aspinall and like Miocic. I think I'll world class him for now, but we'll kind of compromise on that one. But yeah,
sure, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We've still got a lot to get through, so we'll see.
Yuri Prohaska.
I'm gonna go very good. Again, for me, I think he's a very powerful striker, and again, that creativity is something we can talk about as well. I think he's, again, the angles he creates, the limbs he uses. I mean, he's very good with both feet, very good with both hands, and again, the type of strikes he uses are very difficult.
Varied.
I think what keeps him out of world class for me, he can sometimes look a little sloppy in there and a little wild.
Yeah, he's not defensively sound.
No, he's not. And I think sometimes he overreaches as well, over wings. It leaves him in some very vulnerable situations. It happened with Glover.
Yeah, I was going to say
Glover
that.
a few times.
Glover kept catching him with like left and right hooks and kept catching him on the feet.
I mean, it happened with Dominic Reyes as well. Like Dominic Reyes caught him a few times. That was a bit of a back and forth one as well. I think again, if this was a heart tier list,
yeah, he's up there for me as well because I think he's entertaining.
Yeah, he'd be well up there.
Yeah, I just think a bit too sloppy. And I think he's better than most of the guys in decent, just for pure variety. And an attack can come from anywhere, you know what I mean? Like leg kick, knee, elbow, and he'll just find anything. So yeah, I think very good is very reasonable. Derek Lewis, big boy himself.
Boy, again,
power. He's up there.
Yeah, again, there's so many of these guys. You're on a different tier list. You could put them at the top. You could put them at the bottom. Even in terms of like looking at striking in general, I'd probably have him at decent because again, power wise, he's actually got a pretty whippy head kick, which for a man his size. That head kick is crazy. Is pretty good.
And then also he showed that variety in that flying knee. That was jokes.
Oh yeah, that was filth as well.
That was jokes. He has some variety every now and then. And then like
the legendary 6-pack Lewis coming out with the flying knee.
So I think decent. And if you've got 14 KOs in the UFC, I can't put you an average. You've got to go up there. So just for pure power. Some people excel in certain areas and power. For him, he just gets him that bit higher. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Mr. Controversial this weekend. I'm not going to go into that, but Johnny Walker.
Yeah, let's stay away from that one.
We're not talking about that, but just purely in the octagon, Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
He's so infuriating.
This is a difficult one because again, his striking is obviously incredible. Again, we're talking power, angles, limbs he's using again. I mean, I sound like a broken record here. He's got it all.
The Paul Craig fight, that KO. I think it was that back fist while he grabbed his leg.
I mean, Paul Craig in that one was. I'm trying to avoid using my usual rhetoric here. As you see, I haven't really
I know what you mean.
Swearing or saying anything too rude.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best here, but no, it was. I blame Paul Craig more for that one for just clinging onto the leg for dear life and leaving himself that open. But the Ryan Spann win was really good. But when he comes up against those certain guys, the Krylovs,
have you ever seen
Jamal Hill?
Have you ever seen the fight where he gets dropped like 4 times in a row? Johnny Walker. It's like I think it was the regional fight in Brazil or something.
No, I haven't seen it.
I'll send it you later. It's quite funny. He's just like ragdolling all over the place. I don't know. He's so
once that chin goes, and that's the thing. He was. I think he went through such a run where he was starching people that he does leave himself open. So I'd have to have him at decent because he is like offensively very, very good. Just defensively, he's all over the place sometimes and very careless. Again, if this was an IQ tier list, where would he be?
At the bottom, you know what I mean? He's awful. Yeah, we'll put him in decent for now. He might have to move in a bit, but we'll go next. Big boy Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, I'd have him at very good.
Really?
I'd have him at very good. Yeah, and the reason why I say that, again, if you look at the fight with Israel Adesanya,
that's what I was thinking.
I think that's what elevates him from decent to very good for me. I think the display he put on with that, the fight against Ankalaev as well. Kicks, I think that his leg kicks are just a problem. He's got very good boxing. He's quite defensively aware as well.
Yeah, his Dominic Reyes performance where he's chewed the body up with those kicks. Hammered him in.
Those yeah, absolutely beautiful body kicks. So I would say I'd have him at the lower.
Very good, yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. The lower end of very good, verging on falling into decent at times.
Yeah, I'd say he's better than all these.
Overall, yeah, I think overall, because of, again, it was the Adesanya fight was the one that stood out to me. I know he put the takedowns in, which were a big help, but he kind of did that more towards the end of the fight. He was handling Adesanya on the feet for the first 2 or 3 rounds. It was at the very least, even if you're the most generous guy, you could say that was even.
Yeah, Fairs, I'll have to agree with that. But I think, very good is a good assessment of him. Leon Edwards, welterweight champion.
And again, I have to be very careful here because he is from your neck of the woods.
Yeah,
so
very
very careful here. I love Leon Edwards. I think, again, we're looking at I'd have him between very good and world class.
I think you have to put him in world class because he's just known for his striking.
Yeah,
and I think,
and he's so crisp. I think the only reason why I had it because he's not much of a KO guy, but that's not what this is about. It's about the quality of the striking itself.
Yeah, it's wherever the strike, like Lewis got decent just due to power. I think technique, he's probably one of the best that's going to be on this list. I think there's 2 or 3 guys who can rival him technique-wise. I think because if you think that Kamaru Usman KO, that's just pure technique. It's a Hail Mary KO, but the way he set it up, the left foot.
And I mean, the setup was absolutely beautiful. I mean, and the thing is, he might be more of a volume guy than a straight knock you out guy. But I think that for me, the second performance he had was even more impressive for the fact that he dominated virtually the entire fight.
I think he
range control's great as well.
You have to put him in world class. I think the only thing that lets him down, he's a pedestrian in his fights sometimes. Like, he just goes through the motion.
Sometimes he fights whoever he's fighting his level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He doesn't.
And that's the thing. I think it's that. Yeah.
If he upped his level and was like, let me go through the gears, because I feel like sometimes he'll go through a fight in 3rd gear or 4th gear. If he upped it to 5th and 6th, you could see him probably go up here. But I think you have to he's known for his striking and not really his grappling. He is a striker. He's got some of the best overall striking. Like, I remember he doesn't do them as much. His elbows were unreal at one point. I remember him smashing.
Certainly, I mean, in the clinch as well when he was forced to do that, because I mean, there was a great belief back when he was first fighting that you just had to clinch with him and make sure just to close the distance. But he was somebody that could throw very nasty elbows. Certainly, like when breaking the clinch as well.
100%.
That were very nasty.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to have him there.
Yeah, I think world class, he deserves to be in there.
I'm not going to go against you on this as a fellow Grammy as well.
I knew about Leone back in 2016 when I was at uni, actually. And then my friend trains at one of my close friends trains at his gym, and who's my close friend, I got a picture. He's trained with someone who's going to come up on this list later on.
Oh, brilliant!
Anthony Smith.
Boy,
he's been getting a lot of hate recently.
The thing is, I think he's a very decent all-round MMA fighter. I think he's somebody that, I mean, one thing that people forget about this guy is he's been in a lot of wars.
Yeah.
And I think he's got
50 plus fights nearly.
Coming up to between 50 and 60 pro MMA fights as well. And he's not that old.
Yeah.
If you consider how many times he's been in there, and he's obviously got a lot of wear and tear on him. He's fought some. I would have him at this. Again, this sounds disrespectful. I'd have him at average.
I know. I would agree.
I'm thinking sort of average to decent, because he can strike. He's not terrible. He does. His leg kicks are decent, even though his legs are kind of made of cheese string at the moment.
I wouldn't say he's blow you away striking. You know what I mean? Whereas some of these other guys in his division, like if you compare Johnny Walker to him, who are in the same division. Yes, Johnny Walker's sloppy at times, but Johnny Walker's got that X factor kind of, I'll come and throw a flying knee, or come and throw this and come and throw that. So I think Anthony Smith, average, I think that I agree. Vacant, champ, unchamp, I don't know what the hell to call this guy. Jamal Hill. Fundamentals, I think, is very good.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have him considerably above decent. He's definitely got to be either very good or I think because of the body of work, you'd have to go very good as opposed to. I think he's very good with the potential to be somebody who's world class because
that Glover performance.
unreal. I mean, his boxing is so sharp, so crisp. He's so quick in there.
He doesn't look it. Like,
And
people say he's built like a bag of milk, but he's very athletic.
yeah, he looks like a fat mess, to be honest with you. But
Athletic.
yeah, he doesn't look athletic, but he's
Yeah,
effective.
leg kicks,
He's a very
punches,
effective striker.
striking. I think he's got it all on point, and he's a bit rangy as well, and he knows when to get in and out.
Yeah,
So I think his only loss is that Paul Craig submission, isn't it?
it
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
So I think
it is, and that was a bit of a Hail Mary as well.
yeah, and I think you've got to think like overall his game is very good, and I think when we see him versus these two, and later on somebody else who we're going to talk about,
There's definitely going to be some room for shifting anyway,
yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, I think we'll put him in very good for now. Middleweight champ, Sean.
Man,
He was probably down here somewhere, and then all of a sudden,
yeah, because the thing is,
he's
yeah, I
looking
mean,
over here.
yeah, I mean, I'd have him at very good. Probably right there is perfect. I'd have him behind Jamal Hill even. Very effective boxing, and I mean, the one thing that he has above everybody else in the entire UFC, if you take the Alex Pereira fight out of it, his
Yeah,
defense,
one of the
his
best.
striking defense is second to none.
Yeah.
Like he is unreal. He can fight, and I think it's the pressure he puts on as well that makes him so effective. I don't think he's the most varied striker in the world. I mean, what you see is what you get with Strickland. It's very plodding forward, pressure style, very accurate, but nothing too varied. But impeccable defense, and that's why you kind of got to have him up there. I think
No,
very good is very fair to
I
me.
agree with you. I think he doesn't have that finish you off pop, but that Izzy fight was one of the best performances of the year, and he proved, I think, all of us wrong. And if you're beating a guy like
That might have been the best night of my life, bro. Like
it was a funny
I don't remember being that happy
it
like
was a
ever.
funny night. It was a
Like,
funny
and
night.
it's quite sad
Yeah.
to say so, but
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been, because I love CKB so much.
Oh,
You
yeah, of
understand
course.
it? Yeah,
No, yeah, very good. I think you have to put it striking defense just on that, like where we've said guys like Moreno, striking defense have been Paul
Yeah.
Garbrandt, striking
and seeing
defense.
that's how we've kind of set this conversation as kind of we're talking about both.
I think yeah.
I think he's
Yeah, very good
Yes.
striker. I have thrown in some upcoming prospects. One of them, Bo Nickel.
Yes. I think again with Bo Nickel, the issue for me is the sample size. Like
Yeah.
and obviously the level of competition that he's faced as well is not great. He's very powerful on the
Yeah,
feet.
he's showing he's got some hands at least. He's not just pure
He's got
wrestling.
something. He's got something. And the thing is that if he can continue to develop on that, he's going to be amazing. He's a bit of an insufferable character to me, but I'll get to that in another video.
Average, I reckon, just because we haven't seen enough of him.
I would say average, yeah. I'd say of all the people we've spoken about, because of the body of work he's got,
Yeah, we haven't got enough.
it's difficult to place him above anyone, really. It's like the potential's there. He's got some power. He's got some pop.
He's got some good like jabs and straight right hands, but yeah, I think average is a decent place where he belongs. Kamaru Usman.
I would have him at decent.
I think he has to be the
I would have him at
higher end
decent.
of decent.
I think like he's got great power, and the way that he established that jab under Whitman was obviously. And a lot of people kind of downplay it. They say, I think it really changed the kind of fighter he was, and it allowed him to retain the title for as long as he did. I think adding that to his game really made a massive difference. It is ultimately that, though. I mean, he does have power in his shots, but his legs are short. He's not really somebody who's going to go to a
You don't go
kicking
on a
game
15-fight win streak without having decent striking. You know what I mean? And like
No, 100%.
And his fundamentals are really good. That Gilbert Burns performance where he jabbed, the Colby fights, he had the power advantage on Colby, and we're going to talk about him in a second. But he did drop him a few times, and the Khamzat fight he just showed. When he fought Khamzat, he did very good on the feet actually. At
By
points.
the way, did you think what did you think the outcome of that fight was? Just while we're on that subject.
I just think you could have called it a draw because you could have said he won the 2 rounds. But I think if you look at the overall picture of the fight, I think Khamzat deserved to win. Like if you just look at the overall picture, I know you score it on rounds, but if you just look at an overall picture of the fight, I think you just give Khamzat the fight just because of how dominant that first round was. But yeah, I think
I actually had draw or I had Usman winning.
yeah. Ooh.
But we can get into that another time. But yeah, I think I think decent's fair. I think the like you said, the fundamentals are really good. He's got that jab is a problem. It's so effective in sort of setting where his range is and setting up what he does with the takedowns. Very snappy. I do like it. I think decent's round about
Yeah.
fair.
Um,
Good decent.
his nemesis for some while.
Again, this is a guy I really love. I'm going to be real. I haven't had the opportunity to speak about him on my channel because he's
You,
been absent for about
you're
10
gonna
years.
probably have the chance, well, in the next couple of weeks when you do your
Uh,
preview. So everyone check that out when you get the
oh
chance.
yeah, I'll get into that. We'll get into that. You can't have him above Kamaru. I would have him at decent.
Really?
Yeah, I'd have him at decent just because I think his striking gets a lot more. I think it gets dumped on a lot more than it deserves. I think the way that he uses pressure and the way he uses octagon control in particular to set up what he does. I think he was often seen as like just a pure wrestler and that's all he had to his game. But he's kind of proven in by going toe to toe with guys like Masvidal when he did it with Woodley as well, and basically having two outright wars with Kamaru as well. He showed that he can hang on the feet, like that he's got a very decent chin as well. I know,
I was
not as relevant here.
genuinely going to put him in stick to grappling only
You
because
were, I know you were. I could see it. I could see you were hovering around
only
there.
because you made a good case for him, but only because he needs to use his grappling to win. Do you understand what I mean? Like,
Do you know what? Yeah, I think as an in between, then I think we should stick him in average.
yeah, because I just think he uses his grappling. Like, he has to always try and at least level change or do something with his grappling. Like, he's never going to win a striking battle against none of the welterweights. So I just think he has to stick to grappling because that's how he wins. He's a pressure fighter using his grappling. So that's,
And I think the fact that that threat is always there allows him to probably strike more effectively than he otherwise would be able to.
yeah,
So that's a fair point.
That's-
I'd have him above Bo Nickel though if we could
that-
do that.
that's fine.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm dogging on him too much by having him at the back.
No, but I just think because he uses his grappling to win, it's going to
Yeah.
have to be lower because his striking's better because he can get you back up against the fence and then level change and then come up from punches and stuff. So I think yeah, average is fair result. Michael Chandler. I think
He's just an
yeah,
idiot,
you got
isn't
to
he?
put him in
He's
decent or
just
average.
not the smartest guy. This is the problem. I'd have him at decent.
Yeah.
Again, very powerful. He is a decent boxer. He is explosive. I just think again, the creativity is not really there. He's not that varied. I just think he's a powerhouse. He's like a power cake. I think it would be disrespectful to say he's average because he does find the chin more often than not. And even in the fights that he loses, he tends to have people really hurt.
Yeah.
And then he gets too excited. He's like a little kid, He gets a little bit too excited in there and then makes a mistake, and that's often what lets him down.
That KO of Ferguson.
But I would say, yeah. And I say again, the defense, he always gets cracked as
Yeah,
well. So
you're not wrong, but I think he's had that hooker KO, the Ferguson KO, went toe to toe with Gaethje on the feet.
Yeah.
I think decent is
and those were varied finishes as well. I mean, the
front kick
to the
yeah.
face to Ferguson as well. It was
brutal. Yeah,
that's nightmare inducing.
Decent. There's decent. He belongs in decent. I think.
I think decent's fair. Yeah.
Wonder Boy, Stephen Thompson.
It's got to be
class.
world class, really.
That Kevin
It's gotta be
Holland
world
fight was
class.
wicked. Do you remember that? I
Yeah,
think it was a year or two ago when he fought Kevin Holland in that fight.
Oh yeah, no, that fight is still. But I mean, I was very much annoyed in that fight because I feel like Kevin Holland had a
advantage on the
path
grappling.
to victory. Yeah, by doing to keep it standing with a guy like Wonder Boy just wasn't the wisest.
Yeah, but I just think the years of work, the body of work, the variety of striking, the kicks, the distance management. He's only been KO'd by Pettis. That was it. That Superman punch.
Which, funnily enough, I saw the other day when we were watching because obviously they had like the PFL highlights and they were doing a lot of that.
But
so they were talking about.
But yeah, I think he's an easy one, world class. I think he's one of the best strikers, and he's been one of the best over the years. So yeah, that's a simple one. Hamza.
Yeah. I suspect we're going to have a difference of opinion here as well. I would have him decent. I don't think he's. I mean, I think he's overhyped in general, and again, we can get into that totally another day. He's not a bad striker. He's obviously got power.
I think his straight punches are really good. He's
Yeah,
got a good,
yeah,
got
they
a good
are, and
jab.
I think again, it's very similar to what we were talking about with I think it was Kamaru when we were sort of saying that because of the threat that he
Yeah, with the
carries
takedowns.
with the takedowns, I think it sets up a lot of what he can do on the feet, and that obviously helps him. But I don't think he's again. I don't think the variety's there. I think you kind of know what you're going to get from him. I think his main weapon is going to be, as you said, it's going to be those straights that are very effective.
But he's got, that Gerald Mearshot KO, which was unreal. One shot.
Yeah.
I think he looks better from we remember the welterweight days. I think he's going to struggle in the middleweight division because he won't have the same power against those guys.
And all this talk about him going up to light heavyweight is just crazy.
He's genuinely, I think if you go, we could try another time most entertaining list. He's one of the most entertaining fighters on the roster for sure.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a fun person to have around. But
yeah, striking wise, I think decent where he belongs.
Decent's fair, feels right.
Poirier,
I'd have him at very good.
Yeah, I agree.
Very good, kind of verging on. I'd have him just. Well, you kind of have no choice but to kind of put him just behind Gaethje now. Would you have him as a better striker than Makhachev? He probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just because of the.
I'd say just about. Yeah.
Just
boxing's amazing. Yeah. Again, it's the boxing, and he obviously put calf kicks in that changed the game.
Beat KO'd McGregor, first person to KO McGregor.
Yeah.
I think that KO loss to Gaethje was a one-off. You know what I mean? Where.
I think he was getting too comfortable, and I think even in the build-up when I think he took the fight because he felt like he was somebody that he was just that little bit better than, and as long as he stayed, with his wits about him, he was gonna. You could see he felt like he was gonna win that fight, no trouble, and I think he got complacent and got caught.
But that's the only time since Michael Johnson, since he's been out. Anyone's outdone him on the feet because
was Johnson at featherweight?
The Johnson I think was at featherweight, but if you think of it lightweight, Khabib beat him, submitted him. Oliveira beat him, submitted him. Other than that, that was the first time he got outdone on the feet.
I like Poirier
every other time.
Really
he's had the wars with McGregor, Hooker. Max Holloway.
Oh, that Hooker fight was fantastic as well.
Max Holloway war. He's had quite a few brilliant performances in sound striking.
And he outdogged Holloway as well, which is very hard to do.
So I think very good is a reasonable shout. Even off the head kick KO, I think very good. He still deserves to be highly up there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think this is probably one of your favourite fighters of all time.
The guy.
Adesanya.
This hurts me to do. I hate being complimentary of Adesanya, but I would have him at very good, and I'd have him at the top of world class. I'd have him at the very top of world class.
I agree.
Again, we're talking the variety, the creativity, the way he uses range, the effectiveness of it, his speed. He's right up there. The only reason why I wouldn't have him at GOAT is because, again, the Strickland fight showed how ineffective he is when he's working on the back foot.
No, 100% agree with you. I would have him world class because he's showing his body of work is impeccable now in the middleweight division. The Strickland fight, I think, brought him down from I think if you were going to put, there was 2 or 3 contenders for GOAT striker, but I think, Izzy has to be world class. I think you can't deny him. Leg kicks, feints, punches. He's got it all in the locker, really. I think the only thing he's missing is that, that power, but he's not that kind of one-shot knock you out guy. He has despite him not being, a pure power striker, it's the timing thing, technique. Isn't it? I mean, he's had some nasty KOs in his because it's very weird about Adesanya. Sometimes it looks like he's not even touching you. It looks like his fights are almost staged. Do you know what I mean? Like for example, the way he dropped Costa looked like he barely touched him. Yeah, I agree with you.
The way he dropped Whittaker looked like he barely touched him. But these guys just crumble.
Even the Pereira KO. Nasty. But it was like, I blinked and I was like, did he even connect? But it's the timing. I think you just have to give him his dues. He is a world-class striker, no matter how much people hate him out the outside the octagon or don't like him or whatever. I think world-class, he definitely has to be there.
100%, yeah.
Charlie Olives. Probably one of the most improved.
Oh, 100%. And one of my favourite fighters 100%. As well. Again, just personality-wise, the rise that he's had up the organisation has been fantastic.
When you think he's a grappler.
Yeah. And I mean, he's got power in his hands. He went toe-to-toe with... This is the weird thing now because... This is where we have the problem because He was on the feet with Makhachev and lost that fight
But he beat.
when it was standing. But he out-hearted Gaethje and out-hearted Poirier. But can we say he's a better striker than them? This is where the problem comes into. I think what makes Oliveira more effective than anyone is if he gets caught, which we've seen many, many times, he can just drop to the ground and say, "Come join me down here," and take that time to recover. And that's something that a lot of people don't have the luxury of being able to do. I think if we're talking pure striking, I would have him at very good for sure. Yeah. But I think it would be reasonable to have him at the lower end of very good, because I think he does, again, it's more the fact that he does use his BJJ and his ability to, all right, I can drop down to the ground, take a little bit of a break as a way of resetting and then bringing it back to the feet if he needs to.
I love his style with his knee up, and he's quite tall. So he is susceptible to being caught. Very lanky guy. He's susceptible. He stands quite tall when he strikes, so he's susceptible to getting caught. But it's like I think he moved to shooter box, and ever since then he's striking. And the Dariush win, he beat Dariush, dropped him.
And I've got to be honest. I said this in my last video as well. I betrayed Oliveira, and I went with Dariush. I put it down as the stupidest. I mean, my prediction ratio, as you know, this year has been insane. But I put that down as the stupidest decision I made this year. I don't know what I was thinking.
So for proving you wrong, he can go in very good. I think that's very reasonable.
Just for that.
Very reasonable. And he's, again, one of the most exciting fighters and strikers, I think, in the division. And to see his improvement, I think, he deserves to be in very good for just the sheer improvement. Paddy, the baddie.
Another one of my personal favourites. Oh my God.
Is he the first?
I think he's the first,
Because I don't think he's beating anyone on the feet. Like, I think he'll have a good chance against Ferguson because Ferguson's past it. But if he's going to beat you, he's going to beat you with his grappling, which is insane. His jiu-jitsu is insane. But that entire top 15, do I trust him on the feet with any of them?
I think he gets beaten by anyone in the top 15.
Exactly, because
I think he's one of the most overhyped guys in UFC history.
I want him to prove me wrong, just because you'll get big pay-per-views and big shows off of him if he main events and he grows. But the first fight he had in the Apex, he got caught by that guy. I can't remember his name.
Vendramini.
That's it, Luigi Vendramini. Then it was some UK card, and he got the submission in the second round, but he was caught in
I think it was against... it's that guy, Levitt.
Yes, because he teabagged him.
Which was another personal highlight of mine.
Then was the Gordon fight after? Was there one more? There might have been one more.
And he got pieced. I think he might have had one more.
Yeah, I feel like there's one more before Gordon.
Off the top of my head, but Gordon pieced him up.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and I don't really think so.
I think if he's going to win, his path to victory is going to be grappling. So I think he just needs to stick to grappling. I just think
stick to grappling. Maybe use the striking to set things up, because you've got to do that anyway in the game now, especially with how high level guys are. But if he gets into straight up standing battles with anyone, he's going to get smashed.
He's in major trouble. So stick to grappling. I think
stick to grappling, mate. Yeah.
Benoit Saint Denis. Well, I said I threw some up and comers. I like Bo Nickel, Benoit Saint Denis.
Yeah.
He had that KO against.
Again, I like him. He did. I mean, that was very, very impressive. I did pick him for that one. I didn't think he'd get it done that easily.
Is it six KOs in a row or 5 KOs in a row?
I think it is, yeah. I think that's right. And again, he's been unreal in each one. I mean, I was going to pinpoint the Aleksei dos Santos fight as one that troubled me because he was very sloppy in that fight. He did go up a weight class for that one, but he looked very sloppy in that fight, and he was getting smashed to bits. And I mean, Aleksei dos Santos is very good. I think the highest we can put him is decent at this
talent
moment
level
in time.
We haven't seen.
But yeah, I think again, if we were talking about, again, I know we've said this quite a few times, but if we were talking about general MMA, general skills, he'd be, very good to world class in terms of the way he puts things together. But pure striking, I'd say he's very decent with the prospect of with a few more performances and a wider, sample size. We could be looking at very good, but I can't put him higher than decent right now.
No, I agree. Giga Chikadze.
This is another guy I think is, again, you probably disagree with me on this one. This is a guy I think is slightly overrated.
Yeah, I had a lot of hope for him when he came through. And then
Yeah, I think a lot of people did. I think the Calvin Kattar
yeah,
fight taught us a lot about him in terms of like his kicking game. Again, it's the variety for me. I think his kicking game is outstanding. Like, he's very dangerous at boxing range, but I think when it gets down to pure box, because it's like they said. I mean, you use a lot more energy when you're kickboxing than when you're straight up boxing. I think if when he fights somebody that's got a little bit of heart and a bit of a chin, he tends to struggle because he's obviously going to naturally gas a lot faster than they are. Defensively, pretty responsible, but he has been caught. I think he essentially the strongest part of his game is his kicking, and I think if you can negate that, he's reasonably. I mean, he went to a straight up war with a very close fight with Alex Caceres, who
yeah.
is a pretty decent striker. But
I think where I've put him is decent. You can't go better with Calvin Cater, but pieced him up.
that's
I think he
reasonable.
has a lot of hype, and we all hyped him up when he came in because of his kickboxing and his giga kick, that liver kick. But he's shown he's shown moments, but I think decent is where he belongs.
That's reasonable to me.
Cheeto, he's a weird one, isn't he?
Ooh, he is a weird one.
Because
I think the thing with Cheeto that's a bit deceptive is like he takes a little while to get into fights quite a lot.
He's a
very slow starter.
He's not volume. He's trying to pick one perfect shot to take you out, and he's had that. I think it was Frankie Edgar. He had the front kick, but there was another Dominic Cruz. He had the head kick.
Yeah, and that was Dominic Cruz for me is the greatest bantamweight to ever do it. So I know he's again past it, but
then he's very methodical in that sense where he's picking his shots. He's not very volume, and he's trying to go.
It's funny that you've got him next to Song Yadong because I would have really liked to have seen that fight.
That would have been
I think
a fun fight.
that in normal circumstances, without O'Malley grabbing the belt, I think that would have been one we saw.
But I think he's beat O'Malley before when you think of the calf kicks and. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I don't prescribe to the whole perennial nerfing, undefeated nonsense. I think at the end of the day, he caused it.
Yeah, I think he won, but I don't know. He's a hard person to score because we're going to talk about someone who fought recently, but
yeah. See, I'm thinking of having him. I'm thinking decent, but again, I think he has elements of his game that are very good.
Yeah. Yeah, he has that finishing ability with his kicks. He's I think he's one of the hardest people to kind of rank on this.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll find out in a second because someone's coming up. But I think we'll keep him in decent for now. This is one of the guys I've been really impressed with, Ilia Topuria.
Yeah. Yes, again, I think the only issue I've got with Ilia, I mean, again, his fight against Emmett was really impressive. I mean, he battered him from pillar to post. The combinations, the boxing combinations that this guy puts together are scary.
Yeah, he's a vicious fighter. Like that Jai Herbert KO, bloody hell! He took him off his feet.
I thought he was in such danger in that fight.
He got head kicked in the first round. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, he did. And the thing is that I've got extra love for him because of the fact that I don't know if you saw his back and forth with Paddy on Twitter where he absolutely just destroyed him. I will love him forever for that. Yeah, I'm always gonna root for him just for that. But in terms of, like I said, the boxing's amazing. Again, I wouldn't say again the most creative or the most varied, but what he does so well. I'd have him at very good.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. He can't go above these because he hasn't got a bigger sample size, but I think he is a very good striker.
Exactly. And the competition. I mean, Emmett's probably the only top level, if you can call him top level fighter that he's fought. Yeah. So I would say the Volkanovski fight's going to be a very big indication of what he's capable of.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. But yeah, I think Ilya's a very good striker. I think he's shown varied game, great boxing, great overall, and great pressure as well. And he's got high IQ. Obviously, Jai Herbert caught him, but everyone can get caught, but I think he's got good IQ and he's got good fundamentals. So yeah,
and the fact that he came back from that as well shows a lot. I mean, I'm more wary of fighters that have never faced adversity. I mean, that Emmett fight was tough as hell as well. So no, I think there's we'll see what happens with the Volk fight. It might be a bit too soon, but yeah, we'll see.
Corey Sandhagen.
This guy I'm very high on. I think I'm going to put him in world class. Again, I think he's a world-class MMA fighter in general. And I think the fact that he's added the grappling and the ground game to his game as well just makes him arguably somewhere down the line is going to be a big problem for O'Malley in particular. I think he's the one guy in the division that overall is probably the best out there. He's had some questionable losses. Some of them were split. I think, again, it's the variety, it's the creativity, it's the power. And he's constantly evolving as well. Like every time we see this guy, he's added something new. He shuts guys out. And again, he's only lost to the very best in the division, and they have been very close. I mean, I know he did get backpacked by Aljo, which was one little mistake, one little slip. But no, he's somebody that I rate really, really highly.
No, I agree. I agree. His striking is very creative. He's very, very sound as well. Very creative and very sound, which is a crazy mix to have. That Frankie Edgar knee was unbelievable.
Yeah, again, one of the greatest. I mean, again, very hard to watch. As somebody who loved Frankie growing, watching the sport for years, but yeah, I think he, in terms of like you said, the variety, the creativity, and again, he's got power as well. He's got length. For that division, he's a big problem. I'd have him at world class for me.
No worries, I can't argue. It's just unfortunate he got injured at that time. You know what I mean? Because he beat Vera, remember?
Yeah, I don't think they would have given him O'Malley next anyway.
Yeah, he was a terrible matchup.
I think they were pretty annoyed by that performance. Yeah. Yeah.
I think he had another fight after that where against Rob Font. Where that was
I think they were very annoyed.
They were annoyed at that one because they were
very annoyed with the grappling, even though he broke his he dislocated his shoulder or his elbow in the first round or whatever it was, and still managed to put in a performance like that.
No, Sanhagen's performance against Vera was amazing, I thought. But yeah, the Rob Font one was the one they got mad at. But yeah, I think
was the Vera fight when he had the five. He had it was a split decision, and one of the judges had every round for Vera.
Yeah, but Sanhagen clearly won. Yeah, that was a weird one. Judging for you. Josh Emmett.
Decent. I'd go decent. Again, it's all boxing, isn't it? It's again very good boxer, very good volume, pressure. I just think that's all he's got, and I think again we kind of realised that when he gets to a certain level, it's just not enough, is it?
No, I agree with you.
I like him.
He's boxing he's got in spades, but Yaya Rodriguez exposed him with the kicks.
He did. I think once he take the legs out, because he's very heavy on that lead leg as well, which is a big problem. I mean, the thing is, guys that have that style now, they get smashed to bits because once that leg gets spammed, they lose everything else, and that's the problem. He really lost his power, and he lost. I mean, maximum credit because I picked that fight to go over 3.5, I think it was, and the whole time I'm watching thinking, oh my god, like he's not going to make it. No, I don't think it was a Yaya. It was the next fight he had, the last one where he lost to Puria, where he got absolutely mashed for that entire fight.
Yeah, I think he there was one point he was getting better. He was like a couple of years ago where you could have put him at the high end of decent. But I just think recently he's getting older now. He's petering off. And the way Yaya and Topuria have done him in recently, I think decent striker. Yeah, he deserves where he is.
Yeah, that sounds fair to me.
Merab.
Do you know what? Yeah, I went hard on Merab before. I used to massacre this guy on a weekly basis. Even when there were videos that had nothing to do with him, I'd somehow find an excuse to talk about him just to troll on him.
I think he's from what I've heard, he's actually a genuinely nice person.
The thing is, that's what's come from it, because I think what turned me, funnily enough, was the Yan fight. You know, the conduct in that entire fight when Yan was acting like a complete bellend, and Merab just came across very humble and sort of. Yeah. I kind of switched my allegiances in the middle of that fight as well, funnily enough.
No, it was one of the best performances of the year, that fight. Like, I think he went for like 44 he didn't secure all of them, but 44 takedowns. But I think that's...
How do you deal with that?
Exactly, but that's what I would say.
Yeah, I wouldn't say... I'd say it's obviously a stick to grappling situation.
Because that's how he's going to...
Sure with him. Because that's what he does. I mean, whether his striking was... The fact that he's so effective at what he does with that, you just cannot... You cannot deal with that kind of cardio base, and if he continues to do that to people, I mean, he's going to cause. It's going to be very difficult to deal with for anyone.
They're so far apart. O'Malley's there in the grappling sense, but in an actual fight, he's a nightmare matchup for O'Malley.
Oh, definitely.
So I think
if he can get past that range and grab hold of him,
I think stick to grappling because that's his route to victory. So I think that's perfect for him. JBJ.
Okay. I I have to say, like, I'm just going to preface this from now. I think he is. I have Demetrius Johnson as my greatest of all time, purely because of kind of what he's done, not just within the UFC, but what he's gone on to do at One, and what he's doing in Muay Thai, and what he's doing in BJJ and whatnot. I think he's the best fighter to ever do it. But I've got John Jones as like a very close second, and I think he's the most complete fighter outside of DJ that has been in the game, period. And again, if we're looking at it even from a purely striking point of view, where are the flaws? You know, it's he can do everything. Like, again, if we're talking variety, creativity, power, distance management, his fight IQ is, you know, arguably the best, you know, the best that we've ever seen in the UFC. Is kind of like him, you know, I'd have him Volkanovski in terms of actual fight IQ in there to be the only person I can compare him to, really. Pure striking, and I'd have him at world class, but I assume that what you're going to do is have everyone at world class and then kind of decide towards the end where you're going to put
who's the GOAT.
The GOAT? Yeah, because I don't know if we're talking pure striking, I don't know if I'd have him as the GOAT.
No, I wouldn't.
I'd have him as the GOAT in terms of all-round MMA.
I agree with you on that sense. I think there's been times like Dominic Reyes' fight recently where Dominic was exposing him on the feet, but I just think if you just go over his overall body of work, you just can't. I know recently he hasn't been as what's it called, but overall body of work, like the younger John Jones was unreal, like against Shogun. Yeah. Like it was one of the best performances ever. But I think
the performance against Machida as well was disgrace. I mean, Machida looked like he was unbeatable at that point, and he made him look like nothing.
Yeah, I just think for the overall body of work, I don't think he's the best pure striker in MMA. But remember the DC second fight where he head kicked him.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, if you just look at his body of work, you can't deny that the guy's had
elbows,
a variety of finishes, and
punches,
spinning
kicks,
back. I mean, the spinning attacks was very much something that he popularized as well.
No, 100%. I think world class. He has to go in there. Amir Albazi.
I wasn't expecting to have old Amir in there. I'd have him as an average striker, to be honest. I do think he's. Again, I don't know. Like, I thought he lost the fight to Kai Kara France, and I had a nice healthy stack on that one. So maybe I'm being a little bit bitter here. I just think he's very average at everything. I don't know.
That's why I put him in there, because he's climbed the rankings after beating Kai Kara France. But did he deserve to beat Kai Kara France, and is he a better striker than him? I don't know.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't see that on the evidence of what I saw. I thought he. If it wasn't in the region where it was, I'll put it that way, I think he would have lost that fight. I think there was a lot of hometown bias there.
Wasn't it at the Apex, off the top of my head?
I don't remember. I for some reason, maybe I'm incorrect about this. I thought it happened in. Maybe it did happen in the Apex. I'm
certain it happened in the Apex. This fight did, because.
And maybe I'm totally wrong about that and being salty for no reason, but. I don't know. The thing is, I don't think he's a bad fighter at all. Yeah. I think his overall game. I think he's pretty well rounded.
Yeah,
he's pretty well rounded. But he's more somebody that just he gets by a lot on pressure.
Yeah, I think average is a fair assessment for him. I think he belongs in there. Good old. I thought he was going to fight this year. Stipe Miocic.
Yeah, I feel really bad for old Stipe. Really? I'd have him personally. For me, my first instinct was to put him in very good. Like, I think his boxing's great, and again it's more the way he places his strikes. I mean, I think watching the way he adjusted in the DC fight, for example, where
with liver shots,
started clapping away at the body, was really, really impressive to me. And I mean, even if you have to look back at the first fight he had against Ngannou, I mean, he made Ngannou look like he didn't belong in there as an MMA fighter. Like, he completely schooled him in terms of the way he managed distance and the way he was coming in and out, you know. I think his boxing's really good. I think he's just that step up above decent. I think, certainly as a
heavyweight GOAT and everything. Yeah, I just think we haven't seen him in so long. We've kind of forgot what he's like now. But I think that second Francis fight did kind of hinder him. He got flatlined, but that's just. Francis improved so much in that time,
and I think he made a big mistake coming in there as light as he did. I think he was thinking, you know what, I'm just gonna dart around him and do what I did last time, and he just got caught.
No, 100%.
That happens.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think he's the heavyweight GOAT. He's had the track record, and I think he belongs where. Very good, yeah. Bottom of very good, I'd put him. Manel Cap.
Again, this is a guy I'm really, really, very, very high on. I'd have him as very good. Again, though, the thing is, we've got Moreno at decent, and I don't think he's shown enough. So I'd probably put him. You'd have to put him just behind or in and around where Moreno is, because he just hasn't fought anyone at that level yet. He put in a really good performance against Pantoja, where, again, the striking range was really good. He does have some power behind him. The problem I have for me is sometimes his pacing in a fight can be very poor, where he doesn't, he can sometimes he doesn't know when to apply the pressure, and he can let fights get away from him sometimes.
I thought
but in terms of pure striking,
his recent fight, his strike is rapid on the feet.
So quick.
Rapid. In, out, rapid. And I think he throws a variety of strikes, which I like. But yeah, I think, we were going to put him very good, but you can't put him above Moreno because he hasn't won the belt yet.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is as well, is he's somebody who, along with who I'd have with Moreno and with Vera, we were saying the same thing with Vera. He's somebody who is overall is a very, very decent striker with elements where they're very good.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think we need...
But until he does it against the very best, I think we need to reserve judgment.
I think we need to see these two against each other, because these two hate each other. Kai Kara France and Manel Cap.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
UFC 300, perfect fight.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, having that even on the prelims would be great.
Yeah, like the last fight of the prelims before the main card, because everyone would be hyped for it, because they talk a lot of trash, and it would be
and the press conference would be amazing as well. I loved the
when they were going back and forth,
the smack talk this guy brings.
I think that's a fair result for him. I was going to make a video. I never did it. I was going to make a video saying, this is the next John Jones. Because I think he's good overall. Like, when we said overall game, John Jones, striking, grappling, everything. I think this guy has the overall game. And I think striking-wise, we're going to see it against Wonderboy. But I think he'll use his grappling against Wonderboy. But this geezer, I think, he's one of the most next-level fighters in the world.
The thing is, it's funny. It's funny you bring that up, because I wonder if he will. If he uses the grappling against Wonderboy, he's obviously going to steamroll him. But will he do it?
Yeah, just to prove a point.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy who might go for it. I would say I kind of agree with you on the potential of this guy. I think he's genuinely frightening. He's one person that I look at welterweight that has one of the best chances of, and I think he would be a very big problem for Leon. He's one of the only two. There's two fighters in that division that I see as potentially a problem for him, and he's one of them. I think he's phenomenal, scary guy. Again, I think he does get hit a little bit.
Jeff Neal, he fought Shafkat. Did Shafkat?
That was an absolute war.
Yeah, and Shafkat.
Such a fun fight.
Shows he's got a chin. He can fight. He can go toe to toe with people. But the way we put him is he not fought enough to be in the what's it called?
I'd have him at very good because purely like what he does. He's got a very kind of brutal style. Which are like he goes for things, and again, I just think that it's going to be until we see him against an elite striker like Wonderboy. I don't think we can put him quite in that upper the highest tier yet until we've seen.
But that. I think one thing like you just said, he goes for like crazy, but he goes for the finish. I feel like he's not like Leon's trying to point fight you. Shafkat's trying to get you out of there. Which
100%,
and I'm pretty sure 17-0, 17 finishes. I think 9.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
9 submissions, 8 KOs, and he got that spinning. Was it wheel kick last year? Like he's got a varied game, very striking, and I think sky's the limit for him. I think
just devastating. And I'm very high on this guy as well. I think he's gonna. And in fact, he's in Laura Sanko's pants as well.
Exactly. So I genuinely
he gets bonus points for that alone.
I think he could be genuinely the next JBJ. Like just for overall pure talent and what's there, he could be a menace for that division. Blessed.
Yeah. I suppose you've got to put him at world class, don't you? Very good to world class. I don't know.
I think he's world class.
He gets hit a lot, doesn't he? But You got to put him at world class, I guess.
I think he's only had one performance recently where he hasn't looked world class, which was the Volkanovski third fight.
And it's Volkanovski.
Exactly. But the second fight, he did bits. The Arnold Allen fight, the Yair Rodriguez fight, the Korean zombie fight.
Do you know what made me double take? It's because of where we've got Poirier. And when he fought Poirier, he got pieced up quite badly, and in both he fought him twice, didn't he?
But it was the second one, which was the 5-round wall, but it was a division above, and he doesn't have the power for the division above. Let's be real.
I think that's a very fair thing to say, because he's a very lean dude for
145.
He is a perfect featherweight.
Exactly.
He's the perfect featherweight because he's long and rangy, but also he's got the frame for it as well, where he's not. You can't imagine him having any success going up.
Exactly, and if you think. Some of the striking volume, no one touches him. He's got some of the best striking volume. He's never...
And he's so precise as well.
He's never been knocked down.
Which is crazy.
Him and Jones have never been knocked down, if you think about it. So I think he has to...
That hell chin.
Has to be in world class. I wouldn't put him anywhere else.
I can't go against Jones.
Yeah, he's a world class striker. I think he's one of the best in MMA. If he had power... You're looking probably the GOAT.
GOAT, yeah, you're looking at the GOAT.
Exactly, I think that's the only thing he's missing.
Yeah.
Aljamain?
Decent.
I
would have, and again, I'm high. I like Aljamain a lot.
I like him as a person. I think he's
a lot.
Genuinely good dude.
He was actually the first guy who interacted with me on Twitter.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like a month into being on there, I made some kind of offhand comment about him. I said something along the lines of like he has to basically beat Cejudo for all of us, or we'd never hear the end of his fat mouth, or something along those lines. And yeah, he responded to me, and it ended up getting like 100,000 views. So like I was really grateful to him for that. Yeah. I was like, wow, people started to realize who I was on Twitter just because of that one response.
He seems like a genuinely, like, if you hung out with him, he'd be like a cool person to have, or if you had an interview or podcast with him, he'd be a genuinely, like, just a sound dude to just chill with. Like, comes across as a good person.
Even when he went toe to toe with the MMA guru, and he was so like apologetic because he thought he'd insulted like a disabled person and whatnot. It was quite funny as well. So like he was genuinely afraid of like being cancelled or whatever. Was so sorry. Like
he's genuinely good dude from what I've heard and what I've seen from him. But yeah, striking wise,
he is a decent striker. Yeah. He's not elite or anything. But like again, it's what we talked about.
He tries things as well. He tries things.
Yeah,
I think
he's funky.
Yeah, like he says in his name, he's funky. But I think his overall game is like striking mixed with grappling. He does things, kicks, punches. He's got a good, decent game. I think decent's where he belongs. Especially, you don't become bantamweight champion like that without having decent.
Yeah, no, I think he's one of those ones he's a very good MMA fighter. Yeah. He's a very good to world class MMA fighter. But if we're looking purely at striking, which is what we're doing here, I think decent's fair.
Yeah, I think that's the right assessment. Alexander Pantoja.
Again, he's a guy that I really like. You've got I suppose, just for the fact that he's managed to strike Moreno. I would probably put him at the top end of decent.
Yeah.
Just because, I think that last fight was so close.
Insane fight.
Insane. One of the best fights of the year for me. It's
one of my contenders for fight of the year. It was one of my favourite fights of the year. I think he mixes his, again, similar to Aljamain but better. He mixes in his striking and grappling brilliantly. Like he's got submissions as well. Like last year, his performance with Alex Perez was one of the best performances of the year. He like submitted Alex Perez in like less than a minute.
Yeah, that was embarrassing for the entire Perez bloodline. Really,
yeah, exactly. Like literally 1 minute and rear naked choke and it's over. But yeah, I think to go do that to Moreno and put on that kind of a striking performance and have that dog in him and go toe to toe. And I'm pretty sure.
No, I mean, I did pick Moreno in that fight, but it was one of those ones where it was. How can you pick? It was such a difficult fight to pick on one. You could make such a strong case for both guys. And yeah, I mean, his striking in that fight was he was popping Moreno back all night long.
He dropped him on a few occasions. I'm certain of it from what I remember. So yeah, decent striker. Yeah, he's just missing from that world class, the very good ranking just yet because he's just got the belt. So let's see where he goes from here. I feel like this is one of the guys who's on your Goat Mountain, I reckon. I feel like you love this guy, Bobby Knuckles.
I do love Whitaker. I think he's a strange one for me. I think again the striking he's another one who falls under the very good MMA practitioner for me. Like I think striking wise, I don't know. He's a hard one to because he does have a very he's quite a varied guy. Again, he's somebody who does mix things up really well.
Punches, leg kicks, everything. Like I remember his Cannonier performance being wicked, and then his Vettori performance being wicked.
You see, against those guys, he makes them look less than average. Exactly. Which I think has to be taken into consideration and it kind of shows you how good Dricus is as well. Because
we'll get onto him, but he gets KO'd by Dricus. Can't get past Izzy. Where does he sit? He's a hard one to rank, really, because became welterweight champ, had those wars with Yoel Romero. Obviously got rocked about and dropped about, but then like he's had these brilliant performances. You know who I'd love to see him fight is like someone like Costa. I don't think he's fought Paulo Costa, has he? I think they were scheduled to fight this year, but like
no, he hasn't. They were supposed to fight a couple of times. I think he'd do work on Costa. I love Costa. I think putting him in decent would be slightly unfair.
Yeah.
So I think we have to put him at very good, but I think as a compromise, having him at the end of very good.
I think I'd have him out higher than Stipe just because of he's had some excellent performances against Vettori and Cannonier.
Sure.
So I think that's a fair result for good old Bobby Knuckles. He hasn't competed since his broken leg, but you have to put him in any MMA, UFC tier list. You just got to put him in there, Mr. McGregor.
Yeah. And to be fair to him, he got me back into watching the sport again when I'd taken a little bit of a hiatus. And obviously, I'm somebody of Irish descent as well, so he's somebody that I've had to back despite my despite the amount of times he's messed up outside the cage. What do we do with him?
There was a point you could have genuinely at one point in his life he was up there, but since
straight after I think right after that Eddie Alvarez fight, was where he should have just walked away. I mean, obviously you couldn't because of what what could have potentially been next and the money he could have made. But if he'd walked away from the sport at that exact moment, I think people would have been putting him on their mountains. Like he was that high in the game at that moment in time. Again, it's the Poirier thing again. Poirier seems to be ruining where I'm placing people at the moment. I don't know. I mean, I know.
I don't think.
I know that you want to put him in well. I feel like you want to put him in world class.
No. I don't think so. I think he has elements of world class to his game, like timing. Yeah, his timing is unreal. Like, and some of his teeps to the body, his striking is great. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, even using the old what was it, the shoulder
against Cerrone,
that everyone seems to be doing now.
He's got creativity. He's influenced the division, like with that shoulder, like you've mentioned that. No, I don't want to put him in world class because I just don't think he is there anymore. But he has to. You can't. He's better than everybody.
You've got to have him in very good.
Yeah, he's better. No one in decent in striking department is kind of on his level, so you've got to put him in very good. So I'd say around there maybe.
Yeah, having him in very good. I think we have to take recent. Again, if we were talking a few years ago before those two Poirier fights, you'd have him at the upper echelon of very good, if not at world class.
Yeah. But after there's recent, you know what I mean. He came out boxing stance, got calf kicked to bits,
and that's the thing. The way that he crumbled so easily to the calf kicks as well was not. He was unable to adapt on the fly, and that has to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, so I think very good striker is where he deserves to be.
Yep.
Dricus I don't get this guy. I've never understood an MMA fighter. Like, I just don't get him. He's so bad but good.
Yeah, and
it works for him.
That's kind of what I think. What works so well for him is he's literally the opposite of textbook.
Yeah, he's just I don't get it.
You don't know where it's going to come from. And the thing is, it doesn't. I wouldn't go as far as to say it looks goofy because I don't think he looks goofy in there. I think that would be a little bit unfair. But it looks like something's off. But it's just so effective.
He's like an avalanche when he just gets going. You can't stop him. He's like a bull in a china shop. He just gets going. He's just throwing leather. Like I think we're good. I think we're in one of
those weird situations where even though he beat the hell out of Whitaker. can we say that he's a better pure striker than Whittaker?
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so. But this is going to be a great indication when he fights Strickland. We're going to find out because I feel like he's got the power advantage over Strickland.
And the thing is that and I know Strickland is known as a very good grappler as well, even though we haven't seen too much of it in the octagon. It will be interesting to see how he handles that. Strickland will have the edge with the cardio as well. I don't know, from a pure striking standpoint, he's very difficult to tier because, like you said, he's not orthodox at all.
I've never seen a weirder fighter in my life, honestly.
He's very effective in what he does, though.
Every person, when he fought Whittaker, I was like, he's getting schooled, and he just KOs him. I'm like, what?
I mean, and I wanted Dricus to win that fight. Like,
Yeah, the Big Easy. You could have got the Big Easy fight out of it, but can you put him in very good? I just don't know. He's so hard.
The thing is, I don't think you. Honestly, I love Dricus. I'm thinking right now we have to say he's decent.
Yeah.
And then when we see what happens with Sean Strickland is when we'll kind of know
where he sits at. Yeah, I think.
And I feel like I'm disrespecting him by saying he's a decent striker, but it's just.
But I've never seen. He looks sloppy, but it's effective. But he doesn't look sloppy because it's effective. He's just one of those fighters who just. It's right now. He just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I've got. I think we're landing on the same place. I think it's.
Yeah, we'll put him in there for now.
If you know, yeah, I would say putting him at decent's probably where we have to right now.
Somebody who's fighting at 296, Vicente Luque.
Who, I do think he is. Again, my gut is going between decent and very good, and I'm leaning more towards very good. If I'm being honest, he is a very good striker. What was his recent
performance? I can't remember.
He lost to Bilal, I think.
Ah, yes, I think I remember now. Because I remember when that war with Woodley on the feet, where he battered Woodley on the feet.
And I mean, he did KO Bilal the first time they fought. Quite convincing. And he's had some really nasty. I think he lost to Jeff Neal quite recently as well, if I remember rightly.
He's a very fun fighter to watch, and the striking is his kind of forte.
It was Dos Anjos that he beat recently.
Oh,
that was his last fight, and he went very grappling heavy in that one, which was interesting. I don't know. I think like he's mostly known for his striking, and he has shown that he can be very devastating. And again, he's got a very good kickboxing range. He can box. Does get hit a little bit.
Very good.
I think that's where I'm kind of. I think that's why I'm kind of landing between decent and very good. I think I'm going to let you make the call because he's definitely a good striker. It's just kind of. You could very much flip back and forth depending on what performance of his you watch.
Yeah, he's like here. I think we're going to talk about his opponent coming up soon, but I'll just put him around here. I'll put him there for now because I just think
he's fine. I feel comfortable with that
because these guys are. They've gone broke through to title contenders and they've kind of made their way.
And when you think about his competition as well, I mean, he's fought like Mike Perry. I think he's fought Randy Brown. I think at one point who's decent. Nico Price, I think, was another one he fought.
Yeah, just when he hits that upper echelon talent, he just can't seem to.
So I think decent does feel a little bit disrespectful because he is very good at what he does, but I don't think we can outright say very good either.
Yeah. I don't think so either, but yeah, I think where we put him is quite reasonable. Vettori?
Again, this is a guy that I love this guy, but he's not amazing, is he, at anything?
Yeah.
He's just an absolute Chad.
Yeah.
That's what he is. And I mean, again, his striking technique is not amazing. Again, he's just a volume, out-heart you kind of guy.
I'd say average.
He's just a bruiser.
He beat Costa, so I'd say average. The only reason being he's a grappler, isn't he? And when he fought Izzy,
he essentially. I mean, essentially that's what he came into the game with. But
I just think the way Whittaker pieced him up, Whittaker schooled him and made him. Remember we said Whittaker makes these guys look
horrific. Yeah.
Makes these guys look average. We said that, and then also I think did he fight? I want to say he fought Roman Dolidze for some reason, but unless I'm tripping.
He did. He beat Roman Dolidze. Again, it was a very close fight, though.
But he's not done anything in the striking department where I'm like, you've KO'd this guy, you've done this, which is amazing. You've kind of like, I just think he's just kind of an average striker, you know what I mean? I think his best striking performance was against Paulo Costa off the top of my head.
And that was just rock'em sock'em robots.
Exactly. So I don't think you could put him in.
He's fun. Yeah. He's great to watch. And I think and again, that chin needs to be studied.
Yeah, that's 100% true. He's took some beatings. But yeah, I think he's an average striker and he deserves to be in there, you know what I mean? Piotr Jan. There was one point he was up here probably.
Yeah, and I think he's been hard done by a little bit. I still think he's very good.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the first fight against Aljo, he was winning dominantly in every area of the game. He was, if he didn't screw up for himself, he'd have a completely different. That completely messed up his entire timeline. That fight did.
100%.
The Corey fight was very close. Again, he went I've got to have him at very good because he went toe to toe with Corey and actually looked on a par. And I think if we'd been talking about him before he went on his skid, he'd be right next to Corey at world class.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think the fact that his striking was so ineffective against Mirab, who was just able to close the distance, and he didn't have an answer for it. And I think that has to be taken into consideration because even though you can say, well, he did get out grappled, it wasn't a striking match. He wasn't able to use his striking to stop Mirab from what he was doing.
No, I think his overall striking game is very, very good. Like, I just think against certain guys who've just kind of outdone him. But like that Corey Sandhagen performance was brilliant. Remember when he smashed up Uriah Faber, Jose Aldo?
Oh, that was that was a head kick, wasn't it? In the end, I mean, that was
that front kick kind of head kick, and then like he's got he's got wicked boxing, and like they say, like first round he takes off, downloads the data, and finds your speed and catches you on the counter, and he's got proper fun boxing, and he's a really fun fighter. So I think, he's a very, very good striker. I think
very good at least. I mean, and it's like you said, there was a time when we could have probably put him even higher, and hopefully,
he bounces back. I don't know if they've booked him yet, but they need to book him a fight, man. I want to see him again.
Yeah,
don't know who they're
definitely. I imagine we'll see him at some point early next year. I think it should be great.
Him v Cheetah would have been
him versus Chio, him versus Yadong would be great as well.
Exactly.
Seeing that.
There's some fun fights for him, so hopefully they rebook him. The man of the hour. And remember, I told you...
I think this might be the worst week that anyone's had in...
one of the worst weeks. Yeah, he's getting cooked.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to him, really, because we've had nothing else to talk about, really, with only the PFL being on. So I'm grateful to him for timing this so perfectly.
But remember, I said to you earlier that one of my friends has trained with someone on this.
So here we go. So this is the guy.
Ian Gary, my friend trained with Ian Gary, and he goes, my friend said to me, he goes, he was striking with him, and he was like, he was just working defense against him. He goes, bro, I was there like struggling to. My friend's like 5'8", and Ian Gary's 6'3", and he was like, my friend's also sparred Fabian Edwards, and he goes, these guys are just next level. Like, you're just there. Yeah. They were doing Muay Thai, and he goes, bro, he was just, his defense was on point. I could not touch him, and he was just throwing little kicks, and they were just like doing like light sparring. And he goes, he was unreal, but striking is his game. You know what I mean?
And I think from what we've seen of him, I think he's at least very good. I mean, I think the guy outside the cage is an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment to mankind. Yeah, but we won't go into inside
that. That leg kick game against Neil Magny.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the most prolonged beatings I've ever seen.
That was brilliant.
Like in terms of somebody dishing a beating to somebody without getting them out of there. Like that was as one-sided as it gets.
No, I think he's a very good striker. I think striking is his game. He can get caught. He got caught recently. He got dropped.
It was by Song.
Yeah.
Kenan Song, I think it was, who dropped him in the first round.
I think his offense is better than his defense because he is kind of like he's very confident, so he's like, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna finish you.
I think at the same time, it's funny you bring that up because I think the Song fight taught him to not be so reckless, and you could see when he came in with the next performance, he was dying. He's somebody that I'd like take his personality out of it. He's someone who's kind of known to constantly be working on things, and you can see the improvement in between every fight he's had. He learns from his mistakes, I feel.
Yeah, I think he's undefeated, so he's doing something right. And then I think in a couple of weekends' time when he fights Vicente Luque, we're going to hopefully get a banger.
It's going to be a very big. It will be a very big indication. Hopefully the distraction of this week will not get to him. or maybe I hope it does. I don't know where I'm leaning on that one.
Yeah, I think
Right now.
I think yeah, we'll put him at the end of very good because he hasn't the competition level we haven't seen, but what he's shown in the striking department, he's shown very good striking.
Yeah.
He's shown leg kicks, he's shown head kicks, he's boxing on the feet, feints, jabs, speed. I think he said it in one of his speeches, the new level of welterweights are coming through. He said himself, Shafkat, and then he said somebody else. And we're getting to see that. And we're getting fresh blood now. And him versus Leon.
And he's also very young as well.
Exactly.
He's got so much time to keep improving. So no, I think we're going to see big things from him.
Yeah, hopefully so. And I've kind of left one of my favourite fighters. I think he's everyone's favourite fighter till last.
I feel like you did this on purpose. Like
I wanted an elite level striker to finish off all of the guys. We've accidentally put in these wastemans too many times, but yeah, we're throwing him in here. I don't care. He's world class.
Yeah, 100% he's world class. I mean, it's as good as it gets, really, isn't it? In terms of just
offensively, unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. Like defensively, we'll get into that, but offensively, I thought he was going to lose against Yuri because I just thought he didn't build his frame up. When he calf kicked him the first time and Yuri went to the ground, I went, "What? He's got that much power." This
is going to be. Yeah, it felt over in the first minute. And the thing is, again, I like Yuri a lot. Absolutely, I was very worried for Yuri, even though I did pick Yuri.
I picked Yuri. I was like, it has to be because he's just bigger. He just feels like he's a natural light heavyweight.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, it was more that I felt that if he could drag it late.
I thought the same.
If he could drag
the fight
late, I thought
with Glover.
He'd win the. Yeah, I thought he'd lose the first couple, and then he'd take over. And I mean, I do think the stoppage was slightly early, and we can talk about that another time.
I said the same, but everyone else has been telling me, "Nah, it was fine. It was fine."
And he did say himself that it was he was out. So
striking wise.
One of the best. I mean, I can't understand. I can't iterate to people enough. These guys from Glory, they get to the upper levels.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about the elite of the elite. The guys you get in Glory and in the upper echelons of kickboxing are on another planet in terms of striking. I mean, if you think about how far Israel Adesanya managed to get in MMA just by being essentially somebody who had no grappling, it's very similar for Alex. They don't need it. Like, they're that good.
No, I agree with you. And he's got nuclear power.
Yeah.
Like,
it's everything. It's the precision. It's the angles. It's the fact he can use his hands and his feet, and the head movement's very slick as well. You know, I know in that game they more think about where somebody's going to be. He seems to be 2 or 3 steps ahead.
And go to 2-weight world champion in 2 years of MMA.
There's an argument to be made that he's the most accomplished combat sports star ever.
Yeah, you can put him up there. He's
like, to have 2 weights in Glory and to have 2 weights in the UFC is unheard of. It's never happened.
And it's not like he's beating bums.
No, I mean, again, he was fast tracked.
Strickland's just won the title.
Destroyed. Yeah, it's crazy. And again, there's arguments to be made with him and Adesanya because obviously all their fights were close.
Yeah.
You know, every single one of them was close. There were moments when both of them had the guy hurt and then he was hurt. And then, it went back and forth in that way. So I would have them at both a very similar level. I just think that, seeing as we're getting down to that state, I guess it kind of comes down to who you have as GOAT out of those two, I guess. Is that what it comes down to?
Genuinely, I don't think there's a GOAT level striker in the UFC.
Interesting.
Alex would have been my GOAT had he not got knocked out by Izzy.
Yeah.
Was it the weight cut that drained him? Was he too overzealous? Because striking offense-wise, Alex Pereira is amazing. Defensively, he's not the best.
There are some holes there.
He's been caught now. Really he got caught in the first round of the first fight against Izzy.
And the thing is, I mean, if you're talking GOAT striker in terms of the entire history of MMA, you've got to go Anderson Silva, I guess.
I agree with you in that sense. But right now, I just don't see any guy actually just being on that GOAT level of a striker.
Active.
Yeah.
I think, you know what? I wasn't expecting you to throw this curveball in, but you know what? I can't disagree with you.
I think that these guys that we've all got in world class are world class. but they've all got elements of their game which just I can't say, look, you're actually a GOAT level striker. I think there's been moments where Volk was GOAT. You know, after Volk beat Max the third time, you could have said he was the GOAT level striker in MMA at that time.
Yeah, to do to Max what Max was doing to everyone else was just.
I think you could have said at that time he was a GOAT level striker, but since his losses to Islam and just kind of he just drops down a bit. I think O'Malley, I can't throw in GOAT. He hasn't had enough time at the top and we haven't seen him and he's been fast tracked. I think Leon, too pedestrian at times. Yair, we've said, you know what I mean. He's brilliant and world class striker, but at the highest level he just comes undone. I think Max's biggest undoing is Alex Volkanovski. Cyril, I think, is a world class striker. It's just he just hasn't done it at the very, very top echelon, like knocked out JBJ, or we haven't seen him against Aspinall and prove it at that level. Wonderboy is just a world-class striker. The
more you say that now, I feel like we've kind of got to see that fight. I mean, I was thinking that maybe they gone with up against Shelton Almeida, but maybe we just need to do it now.
Yeah, well, that's why I said just strip Jones of the belt. They should have stripped him in the first place. Because I hate the fact, you know how, and I love Aspinall, but how they're saying we've got 3 UK champions in the history. We don't. We've only got 2.
No, don't. It's kind of thing is I think whatever happens, he's going to end up being the unified champion sooner or later. You might as well just do it now. I think it's more of a marketing because they want that final when they both go off into the sunset thing. They want that at stake, as well as the. Just it being, I mean, the legacy should be enough, but I think for the casual fans that are going to be jumping in, they need to see that shiny belt as well.
No, but I hate the fact that people are celebrating him like he's an actual champion. Because then why is Ferguson so like in his last fight saying 5 fights and then the title? He won the interim title, so why doesn't he think? Because they know deep down the interim means nothing. That's why Poirier was so gutted.
It's like when Gaethje won it and then instantly threw it on the ground. I thought that was the realest response that got to an interim title.
Because it just doesn't mean nothing. That's why it guts me out where they gave him the undisputed. But yeah, Wonderboy, we're giving him world class just of the pure. He is a world class karate style striker. Sandhagen as well. JBJ off the historical. And because of Izzy and Pereira, Izzy's last couple of performances, he can't be world class. He can't be GOAT. And then Pereira just getting knocked out by Izzy. I can't put you.
And it was that carelessness.
Exactly. So I just don't think there's a GOAT level striker in MMA right now, unless there's.
You got me.
Unless there's somebody we're missing. But
off the top of my head, I can't. I don't think.
I've got like all the big names from.
I'll probably be laying in bed at night and I'll be like, God damn, there's him or her.
See, it's not
going to be her. We
left the women's divisions out because there are some great strikers, but we just left them out because then it would just be too long. But yeah, I just don't think there's a GOAT level striker.
And it wasn't a conclusion I was expecting, but you know what?
Do you think
I've got nothing? No, I mean, I think you've nailed it. I think the fact that there are too many, with every person you can elevate as world class, there's something missing the way you can say, but there's this, but they're amazing at this, but and I think
the top 2 are the top 2 are the top 2. I think Pereira and Izzy are the 2 best strikers in MMA.
Yeah, and I think just to put a nail in it in a way is like when you think about what Anderson Silva was like in his prime. When he was literally everything we've talked about today in terms of creativity, distance, the way he could use different limbs, the finishing potential and all that, but also the fact that he was so defensively responsible as well and elusive. When you look at when he was in his prime, that is what GOAT should look like.
The Forrest
and I think
Griffin
there's nobody who operates now where we can say anyone is at that level.
I think Pereira had the best chance. If he knocked out Izzy again and then went up and got the second belt like the way he did, then I'd say, he's the GOAT striker. But he didn't just get cut. He got flatlined by Izzy.
He got flatlined, yeah. So, his soul left his body and then returned.
So I just don't think there is a GOAT striker in the UFC at the moment.
And I wish I had an argument against it because I was gearing up to try and argue between the last few. But you're right.
Who would you have argued your chance for?
Again, I think you hit the nail on the head. Where it sounds mad because he's on my banner. I would have agreed with you with Volk. Like even though there are some it's more because of I value things like the things that I value in a striker. And again, it's a very objective thing, isn't it? Or subjective thing rather. That like it's what you elevate as the most important thing in striking. And for me, two things or three things come to the forefront for me. It's variety, creativity, and intelligence. And I feel like Volk has all of those things in spades. Certainly the intelligence aspect of it. I just think he's so clever in there. And yeah,
no, I like I said, 2 fights ago or 3, after he beat Max the second time, because he beat Brian Ortega, he beat the Korean Zombie, and then he beat Max. And that was a sick run of striking. Like, he put on clinics. Like, people forget how bad he battered TKZ, where the Herb Dean jumped in and he was like, yeah, you ain't having no more. Then he put on the clinic against Max Holloway. I would have 100%, he was GOAT level striker. But since then, and it's no fault to his own, he went up.
And even the way he caught Makhachev as well, the couple of times. I mean, the timing and he ended the fight with a connecting and then ending up on top.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
but
you can see it.
You've got a very good argument for him, but I just think
you can't say GOAT after he just got
flatlined. Exactly. If he went to war 5 rounds and lost a decision, then you could probably argue it. But to get head kicked and flatlined by who we all call a grappler, you can't put him in GOAT striker either. But you've made a good. If you were going to argue one, that's a fair point. But no, I don't think there's a GOAT level striker in MMA.
No, I think you're right. I
think Pereira's got. If Pereira flatlines all of them at light heavyweight, then I'll give it him. But I don't know. But if I was gonna say, there was one guy who can end up. If you had to predict in like a year or two, or someone to end up.
I know who you're gonna say. You're gonna say Shavkat, right?
I'd probably predict him. Who would you go?
In a year from now,
can be someone not on the list.
Well, the thing is, we could get deep into it. One day I'm gonna have to really show you some stuff in one, and show you some stuff in like even some of the guys in. I mean, you're looking at somebody like what's the guy who retired who became a doctor?
Zabit.
That guy's strike was unreal as well.
Yeah, they're just not active. They're not in the UFC, unfortunately, so we can't.
That's the thing. But I mean, I'd probably go with the first person that jumped out to me. It's going to sound crazy. I think Aspinall.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think if he can get a wind of steam under him, I think he's going to look that way because
they're not on his
heavyweight
level.
Is so unskilled.
Yeah.
He is so far ahead of everyone in terms of actual skill level that he could dominate that division for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And then we're talking about in terms of the immediate person who's going to make that big jump off, I'd say him. Looking at this list,
no, that's a fair shout. That's a fair shout. Overall, I think we've
Topuria maybe very young.
Topuria, but he's gonna big test ahead of him in Volk. But I think this is
even Gary. So I mean, to be honest, even Gary to an extent. I mean,
he's good striker.
Could be
very good striker. Yeah, I think this is kind of we could kind of shift him about, but I'm kind of happy with how this is kind of.
No, I'm very. I think at the end of the day, people are going to disagree with certain things, and it's very hard when you do a tier list like that to get it 100% correct, but I'm very happy. What I'm most satisfied with is where they are in terms of the categories they're in.
Yeah,
you could shift them back and forth all day in terms of is he more world class, is he less world class. You could do that all day long, and I'd wake up tomorrow and probably be shifting guys around still if I'm competing with myself. So,
but I think they're in the correct categories, to be fair, all these guys. But right now, my assessment. There is no GOAT striker in the UFC.
I didn't think you were going to convince me of this by the end of this, but you have to say that I am swayed.
Yeah, no GOAT striker in the UFC, so the tier list falls as such. Unfortunately, there is no GOAT striker in the UFC.
They need to start working harder, I think. Yeah. They need to do more to impress us, really, because that's all that really matters, impressing us.
Exactly. We it comes down the paying fans.
We are the setters of the standards now. That's where we're going.
Yeah, exactly. Do you guys agree, disagree with our tier list? It has been quite a long video. If you've stayed the whole way, put it down in the comments. Do you agree with our assessment? There is no GOAT striker in MMA. Let us know, what did you think of this collaboration? Do you want to see us kind of do a bit more podcast style things like these videos, tier lists, where you get some long form content where we break down things seriously? Give us all your feedback. Any last takes you want to give?
Just want to say thanks for having me on. Really, I didn't think I'd be doing anything like this for a long time. I said this at the beginning, but it's been a real pleasure to talk back and forth with you, and I enjoyed hopefully doing it again in the future sometime. It's been a lot of fun.
100%. I'll return the favour and I'll jump on your channel. We'll do some more long form vids, maybe even hopefully we've got next year 2024, maybe start a podcast together where we can kind of do weekly back and forths, kind of get some of the fans' involvements, cross over the channels, get my fans, your fans, and kind of build some cool content going forward. And again, if you've watched the whole way or if you've kind of skipped through and got to the end or kind of got our last assessments, comment and let us know what you want to see from us. We're both growing MMA channels and we kind of want to have fun with you guys and be interactive with you guys and get you guys involved as well.
Yeah, it's about building the community, really, isn't it? I think that's what I've enjoyed the most about this whole journey, is just the people that get involved in the comments will make it all worthwhile. And that's something.
And if you don't agree with us, tell us. Say, look, I think this guy's better than this one, and we can have a back and forth about it. And because at the end of the day, we enjoy the back and forth. We love.
I'm as thin-skinned as I am thick-skinned on the best of days. So I will go at it with anyone.
Exactly.
So you know where to find me.
But this is kind of the fun part in it, having the arguments like we have today about every fighter, like debating, nitpicking things. But it's the most fun part of it, where you can talk about the sport after it's done and stuff, and it gives you guys content and things to talk about after the fact. So yeah, like, comment and subscribe. Bad MMA Math. Plug yourself. What do you want to whether you want them to follow you?
So my handle's the same on every platform. So I'm more active, as you said, on Twitter. So it's at badmma math, and YouTube channel's the same. I do have an Instagram, but I'm not really I don't really operate on there too much. But if you do want to have a bit of a back and forth, Twitter's the best place to find me. And obviously, the YouTube channel as well, where, as I said, hopefully you'll be seeing more collaborations in the future.
No, 100%, guys. Check him out. Subscribe to the Fight franchise. Hopefully going to doing more content like this, uploading more, try and get more uploads out, and try and get some more big videos coming out, gearing up for 2024. Both of us are going to hopefully kind of pump out more fun content for you guys. And if you want to see kind of podcast style videos, maybe in our podcast once a week, where we just kind of chat shit and have fun talking about MMA, let us know.
Yeah, I've got to get my ass on camera at some point as well. I've got to work up the nerve to do that at some point as well. So
we've gone nearly 2 hours. My camera died, so that's why you guys can not see my face anymore. But yeah, let us know if you want a podcast style, and we can kind of sort that out for you guys and have some fun back and forth. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out Bad MMA Math, like I said, and then check out all the other videos we've got going. And we'll catch you in the next one.
In a bit.
Peace.